So hi there and welcome back everyone. As everyone knows, this last week saw the release of Update 4 for Battlefield 2042. It was released on April the 19th, which is just a few days ago from me recording this video, actually 5 days ago. Now I'm pretty sure that most of you have had the chance to have a go at the game since it was updated and see the new features. Everybody knows of course that there were lots and lots of fixes and changes and quality of life improvements to the game, and I've had the chance to play it over the last few days. Not played too much of it because I've been busy with work, but the improvements are noticeable. And as you can see in the background, I'm playing the rush mode that was one of the Portal experiences just at the beginning of the week when the update launched. Characters in the game had super speed, so everyone was sped up just a little bit, so it was your standard rush. I did notice a few graphical improvements actually in there, so things like a counter on the MCOM. I did notice a few glitches with it, whether it's supposed to count down from 30 seconds or whatever it is. I can't really work that out, but yeah, you can see in the background the gameplay, and I did notice it was significantly improved in gameplay, particularly in the rush mode or on those smaller game modes. Definitely seemed to be a huge improvement. Really enjoying it this week actually. I did promise I'd come back and run through the changes that were made to Battlefield Portal in the update, so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to run through the changes that have been made, particularly for those that are creating experiences, and then we'll have a look at those and what those changes are and how they affect your experience when you're creating mods or when you're using them yourself. Still working my way towards 1,000 subscribers. Got a feeling it's going to be a bit of a slog to get there, so if you watch this video and you enjoy it, please just do me a favour, click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help me with the YouTube algorithm. Of course, if you can click the like button on the video, that'll push this video further up the ranking. Trying to compete with those big YouTubers is always quite difficult, but the likes and the subscribes do always help. Right, without further ado, let's crack on and have a look at these changes to Portal. Right, so as you can see, I've gone onto the EA website and I've opened up the patch notes for 2042, the update for patch notes, and scrolled down to the Battlefield Portal section because this is the thing that we're interested in. I'm just going to ignore the top bit for a moment because I want to have a look at those in more detail. Made several improvements to the Portal browser, and I just want you to pay attention just for a moment to these screens underneath. You can see we've got quite a few little fixes that have been made to the Portal game mode itself. Made some adjustments to the chase camera on a number of vehicles in Battlefield Portal. Fixed an issue which could cause a game crash when players were near a Kübelwagen. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Players no longer remain in a stuck trigger animation after deploying C4 and immediately jumping into a vehicle. Not great. The defibrillator can no longer be equipped while swimming. That wouldn't be a good thing, to be honest. Stationary machine guns will now be destroyed alongside accompanying towers. Added new voice-over lines for destroying or capturing objectives. Added new voice-over line for tower collapse events on Caspian Border. I've yet to experience those, but I am curious. I'll have a look at those when I come around to playing the game a little bit more. The tower on Caspian Border will now have improved barrage and projectile VFX before its collapse. And I know a lot of people have complained about the VFX and the destruction. Be interesting to see what that looks like now afterwards. But it's great to see that they're working on graphical improvements as we go along. There needs to be a lot more if we're honest with each other. Players can now switch back to their secondary weapon on an experience with all primary weapons disabled. I will say that as they make improvements to the Portal browser and the tools on Portal, some of these things you're going to introduce bugs. It's quite a complicated thing. It's good to see them fixing them. The cycle primary weapon key binding now properly cycles to the secondary weapon if the player doesn't have a primary one. You should now always automatically have your last played loadout in the next round, which it's really frustrating if you don't. Spawns on El Alamein have been moved to prevent becoming stuck after deploying in a free-for-all mode. Battle of the Bulge, the screen now changes to sepia when going out of bounds near the tank Battle Vista area. And then we've got numerous fixes for floating rocks and cliff faces in Valparaiso, Arica Harbour, El Alamein and Caspian Border. So some quite good stuff there, some little fixes. Not a great deal, I have to say. I was expecting quite a lot more, but I am very pleased. And let's be honest, they really do need to work on the core game mode, at least initially, if we're going to bring players back to Battlefield 2042 and all of the issues with that. It's fair enough that they're working on that as a game mode. We just move on to the Bad Company 2 section. This is specific fixes to this particular area of Portal. You can now switch back to the Mortar Strike gadget while it's recharging. You can now switch out from the Mortar Strike gadget using the Inventory Previous Next Bindings while it's recharging. Fixed an issue where weapon underbarrel attachments would trigger on button press even if the weapon was not selected at the time. And last but not least, this is the one that I'm talking about. Rush updated MCOM screens with arming, disarming progress bars and a countdown timer. The only issue that I noticed with that countdown timer is when I was playing it, I didn't really notice it all the time, but I did notice that on occasion it wasn't actually counting down. Don't know whether that was because somebody was diffusing it at the time or something else, but I'm going to pay a little bit more close attention to that as well. Right, down to just a couple of the main improvements that I have noticed. Now, they're only small, but actually it's great to see some improvements in these areas. So we're going to have a look up here. We've got made several improvements to the Portal browser. The name description is now auto-filled when creating an experience. This is interesting. I'm going to show you this on my screen. So I'm going to show you a combination of a couple of things. The first thing that I'm going to show you is if we go to the browser experience section and we take a look at this experience, we've got this one in the chamber mode here and we click on modify, you will see that we've got this description in the right hand corner. So as I created this mode, I filled in the name and I filled in the description. Now if we look, as I host the game in Battlefield Portal, you'll see that those details are automatically entered into the server details. So you no longer have to enter the details every time you open it up, and they no longer stay the same throughout. They will alter, pull the text from the experience and place that text in the experience description. I actually think this is a brilliant improvement. It's only a small thing, but it's a really good quality of life improvement. Saves me having to fill it in every time I load up an experience. You just got to trust that the person that created the experience, I guess, created a description that was reasonable, but you can always alter it anyway. But if it pulls that text from the experience, fills it in automatically, that's great. And you can see there are a couple of issues with it. It does seem to cut off some of the text. So if the description in Portal, when you created it, when you come to host it, if that description is a bit longer than the text that is allowed on the screen, it does break off at the end. I think I'll just show you an example. You can see that there. But other than that, really, really great improvement. Another improvement that we can see here, it says the name description fields of preset experiences are now empty by default. The browsing experiences remembers your previous search query, and we've resolved instances where the browse tabs didn't function properly or function correctly when applying custom filters. Now, none of these changes that are listed here are anything to do with the web builder itself, and it's noticeable that there haven't really been any changes to the Portal builder except for one. So these are all quality of life improvements within the game, but not the Battlefield Portal itself, you know, the web builder that we use to create our experiences. But I did notice one change in the Portal creator, in the web builder. If I just go into this game mode here and just modify it, just under the core section in the game mode, we've now seen a little alteration to this screen, and we've seen the custom games and the core games split up. This is a really good idea as well. I think it's only a small thing, but it does go to show that these are the core modes that you can't use the logic editor in, and these are the custom modes that you can use the logic editor in. Now I'm hopeful that maybe this is a small alteration so that we can add further modes to this builder. So you never know. This now allows for more modes to be displayed on this screen, more modes to be displayed on this screen, potentially, because now we've got a little bit more space on the screen. I don't know, it's really only a small change, but it's nice to see that somebody's had a look at that and cleaned it up. Before, it felt a little bit confusing. It was difficult to tell which ones, if you were inexperienced or you didn't really have an experience with a web builder, it was difficult to tell which ones you could edit properly and which ones you couldn't. For anybody watching this video and you're unsure, by the way, when we say that we've got these custom games or core games are fine. You can alter all of the modifiers in the core games. You can make changes to those. There is nothing that stops you from altering these restrictions. The only difference is that if you move over to custom, you will also have access to the rules editor. I'll just show you that in action just so you can see. I'm going to create a new experience, and in there I'm going to select Rush as my core game mode. When we do this, you've always got to click on a map, and you can see that we can change all of these things, but the rules editor remains unavailable. If we go back into the game mode, we change back to a custom mode and change it to Team Deathmatch. if we add a map. Now let's just go map rotation and go on that one. You can see that the rules editor is open. So that's the only difference, if you're curious, between custom and core. Custom allows you access to the rules editor and core does not. I'm going to do a little video at some point going through basic server setup for beginners. You never know, we might get a few more players joining us as the game improves. Might not happen, we'll wait and see, but I'm going to do a little video to help people with that. Anyway, that is my overview of the changes to Portal. Not a great deal of changes, to be honest, in Update 4 for us over in Portal, but it's good to see improvements have been made and that they continue to work on them. I'd like to see some more, and obviously there's a huge demand for some improvements and some additions to Portal. Maybe we'll see some of those in the coming months. So what did you think of the changes in Update 4 to Portal? Were there enough additions? Were you expecting to see more? Is there anything that you would have liked to have seen them do this time but they haven't done? Feel free to leave your comments down below. Look forward to reading them. As always, if you've enjoyed watching the video, if it's been useful to you, got anything out of it, don't forget, click the subscribe button, click the like button. It really does help me on my way towards 1,000 subscribers. And if you click the follow button, you'll get notification of all the latest videos as and when they come out. That's it from me for this video. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. I'll see you later.